As radio guys, there's nothing we enjoy more than a little video interview, and Congressman Kinzinger was kind enough to sit down and do 5 questions with us. He doesn't know it's 5 questions. I'm just springing that on him right now.
It's obvious you have a face for radio.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, physique and mindset.
You picked the right job.
Keep the camera on him. He's much better looking. We'll just there we go. Perfect. Favorite family vacation of all time?
Florida. We always went to Florida. We never did anything overly creative. Never went overseas with my family, but we'd always go down to Florida, and unfortunately, we'd always drive.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be like one of those, we're going to stop in Tennessee for the night. It's Dad's going to power through, so we get up at 3 a.m.
Right.
And 20 hours later, he rolls in, and then he's miserable for 2 days.
I was going to say, because dads always become really great parents after powering through all the way to Florida, Texas. I see my dad was like that, too.
They do.
Well, I made it in record time. Now shut up! This is
Don't
fun.
talk to me forever.
This is fun.
And I remember one time actually waking up, sleeping in the back, and seeing my mom driving, and I was like blown away because Mom never drove. But Dad must have been really tired.
He needed 5 minutes.
He needed 5 just to rest his eyes.
Just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mom and Dad, what do they do for a living?
So my dad actually recently retired. He ran a homeless shelter. And my mom's a public school teacher, and she's about to retire this year. And so, that's been actually very fun for me because I was raised in an environment that understood what compassionate conservatism really is. I know it's not cool to say that anymore, but compassionate conservatism, the idea that, we can have compassion for the poor, and we should, and it's in our compassion that we actually believe in upward mobility. We believe a kid born in inner city Chicago should have the same opportunity as a kid born anywhere.
It's been the history of this country all along.
That's what makes our party great. That's what Ronald Reagan was so good at, and my dad very much embodies those values.
Pick a couple of House members here that you really admire.
There's a couple. One is retiring, Mike Rogers. He's from Michigan. He's an outstanding leader. Somebody that understands the threats that we face all over the globe. He understands that Al-Qaeda is an issue, resurgent Russia is an issue, China, and he's very clear-eyed about saying we've got to confront these challenges with a strong United States. Another one I really admire, frankly, I like Aaron Schock in Illinois. I like Peter Roskam. Illinois, I think, has a great congressional delegation because, Randy Hallgren. They come at this with a sense of humility, but they also, in each way, are very dynamic leaders. Aaron is very good at reaching out to young people. Randy comes at this job with a great sense of humility and somebody that is in it for the right reason. And, of course, Peter Roskam's number 4 in leadership. It's pretty amazing that he's risen that quickly.
Good list, good list. Now, if you could, Republicans aren't about doing things unilaterally. We see that on the other side of the aisle.
Right.
But if you could, unilaterally, if you could pass one piece of legislation, write it, shove it through, it happens, what would it be?
Well, I would love to see something close to the Paul Ryan budget. Look, we've got to have a grown-up discussion about where our money's going right now. And the vast majority of what we're spending is on, it's called entitlement. Some people get offended by that word. It's just what it's officially called. But the idea of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. For a guy like me, I'm 36 years old. I don't need to draw Social Security when I'm 65. In fact, when I'm doing my retirement planning now, I don't plan to have Social Security at 65. So how about you make some changes for younger people to save the system for current seniors? But right now, we've created this environment out here where the president's scared to talk to his base, and even though he said once at a State of the Union, we have to have a grown-up discussion about entitlements, he hasn't done anything since. So that's probably what I would push through. And also maybe something like the REINS Act, which says, any government agency that does anything that has an impact of $100 million anywhere on the economy has got to get an up or down vote in Congress, because you're seeing a regulatory bureaucracy that's running out of control.
All right, last question, kind of just a goofy one. Guilty pleasure, TV and movie.
Okay, movie I'll start with is Red Dawn, the original one. I watched that as a kid, and I remember being in class and imagining that the Russians are coming to attack.
And parachutes start coming out.
That's right. And of course, one guy from the Army comes by and says, we need 2 guys to defend the school, and I'm one of them. And of course, I fight the Russians and win all the girls. So
nice.
Yeah, that's what Red Dawn's done for me.
Okay.
TV show, I'm starting to get into Archer and Breaking Bad a little bit.
Archer.
Yeah,
I love
hilarious.
Archer.
It's great. And I've always been a Family Guy fan.
Yep.
And then one of the kind of unspoken, I like Southland. It was a good police drama that I was a big fan of. Guilty pleasure, man, I'd have to say still flying airplanes. I do it for the military, but I also rent planes privately to go fly around. That's and cool. It's not a cheap hobby.
No, I bet not.
Something I love to do. And sometimes I also like to like, have a beverage or two. That would be another guilty pleasure.
You have a lot in common except for the airplanes and the good looks. Speaking of airplanes, if you were Maverick, would Goose have bought the farm in Top Gun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's all about me, and so as long as I got out of the airplane,
right.
That's what matters. Sure, I'd be sad.
Sure.
But I mean, skills-wise, I probably would keep it from happening, but at the end of the day...
Yeah, you wouldn't have put it in the water to begin with, right?
You look out for Team Maverick first.
And you wouldn't have played volleyball with all those guys shirtless, would you?
Right.
Yeah,
I'd be shirtless, but they would.
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Exactly.
Now there's the 5 plus a few questions.
Thank you.